Hello, and welcome to the closeout video for Cardano4Climate. We're closing out two different funded proposals with this video. One is in Fund 7. We got funded in the community events category for the Cardano4Climate Community Events. And also in Fund 7, we got funded for Scale Up Cardano's Community Hubs, the C4C Community Hubs proposal. So for both of these, we have a much more detailed closeout report for each one of these, but just to highlight some of the things that happened in the C4C community events, we committed to 12 weekly meetups, and this was accomplished through a community meetup that was established for Wednesdays at 3 p.m. UTC weekly for 90 to 120 minutes. And they are all recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. So this has been ongoing now for almost a year. So we've gone way beyond our committed 12 and have probably at least 50 of these completed. So you can find out more and watch them on our YouTube channel. And if you want to join, there's a link here for our meetup as part of the Cardano Catalyst Community Network. As part of community events, we also committed to 3 monthly events. So we started a tradition of monthly meetups based around key topics, including guest speakers and onboarding of new projects. Each one of these is also recorded and on our YouTube channel. To date, we've had 4 major events at a cadence of about once every month. The first one was in November, and it was entitled Cardano and Climate Change. The second one was in January 2022, titled Cardano and Trees. The third was Regenerative Agriculture and Blockchain, which happened in February. And then Plastics and Cardano happened in April of 2022. In addition, during the month of March, we successfully piloted 2 Twitter Spaces as an alternative to having face-to-face Zoom meetups. So those were very successful as well. And yeah, we're excited to be putting on these monthly events. And we continue to do these on a monthly cadence. So please do check those out as well. You can find them also at the meetup link that is shown on this page. The second proposal that we're closing out was our community hubs proposal. And we had a bunch of key goals lined out. And they were weekly meetups and presence at Catalyst Town Halls, which is now done. Strengthen core impact team through weekly check-ins, which we had been doing, so that's also done. Support C4C community connections, collaborations, education, and initiatives, done. Organize monthly events, those are done. Upload videos to YouTube, that's also complete. Organize monthly events, those are done. Collect existing educational material for onboarding off-chain communities is done. Core impact team distributes remuneration by consensus. This is still a work in progress. We're finding it interestingly challenging to figure out how much of the budget to devote to different parts of the community when you have a really decentralized autonomous group working together. So we're starting to get closer to this and figuring out how to do it, but it's still something that is a work in progress. Organize information in Telegram and Discord channels is done. You can find us on both Telegram and Discord. We have, I think, 4 different Telegram channels, and our Discord is very active with over 430 different participants. Create forms for community input and feedback is complete. Coordinate times with Eastern Hemisphere to host bi-weekly C4C meetup. We have participated in some meetups and other town halls. Add Cardano educational component to monthly events, which is now done. Translate to other languages. This is partially done. We've been working with mainly in the Spanish language, plus translating some of the events, but this is still a work in progress, and we're trying to figure out how to incentivize and work with different communities to get educational materials translated into other languages. Translate selected educational material related to the Cardano blockchain. This is not yet done and is still on our to-do list. Onboard and collaborate with first existing off-chain project. We've done this with several off-chain projects, namely SeedStars was one of our first onboarded projects, and we continue to do this with a number of different organizations that we onboard to the Cardano ecosystem. Initiate selection of the first incubation project. This is done, and we're happy to report that we're partnering with Little Fish, which was kind of born out of the C4C community, and C4C itself is now looking forward to being an official Little Fish colony and working under the Little Fish model. And then the final one is initiate one self-sustaining on-chain plus off-chain project. And we're currently working with multiple projects, but none of them are currently self-sufficient or self-sustaining, so it's still a work in progress. So that's kind of the update on the community hubs. Some stats for February through April 2022. The monthly growth rate of our Telegram channel and Discord server grew about 33% per month. Discord is up from 150 to 386 members. That's an addition of 236 members, or 157% increase. Telegram grew from 150 to 251 members. So that's an addition of 101 members on Telegram, or 67% increase. Number of followers on Twitter, 131 to 334 followers. So we added 203 followers since February 1st, which is a 155% increase. And to date, on our different Twitter posts, we've had 62,300 impressions. Some of the challenges that we face: members that do not get funded tend to leave the ecosystem. We need to see how we can improve retention even if these projects aren't funded. So a lot of people come in with a lot of great ideas. They put in Catalyst proposals, and some of them don't get funded, and they tend to get a little discouraged and seek additional funding outside, or just leave the ecosystem because they don't think the community has faith in what they're doing. So we're currently trying to work through ways of keeping people engaged, keeping people resilient, and encouraging them to keep trying over and over again until they do get funded. Particularly those who have really great ideas that we think will have tremendous impact. And the second challenge that we've noticed is engaging community members while they also have full-time work outside of blockchain is challenging. People are able to contribute when and where they can, but there are very few of us that can have the luxury of working on all this full-time. So engaging with people on a part-time basis continues to be a challenge. And I would throw in a third one, that working in a global community can be challenging for people who live outside of the EU and US time zones. We tend not to have our major meetings around there, so other parts of the world find it very difficult to engage. So we are looking at ways of spreading our community out more globally and having more local events happening that match people's comfortable time zones, so they don't have to be up at 3 in the morning to join a key meeting. All right, so that's the highlights. We will now jump into a video that was created, just highlighting some of the things that we've done over the last 3 months. Thank you.
Welcome to our first event, Catalyst Sustainability Goals, hosted by Cardano4Climate. Through Catalyst, the platform committed to generating the highest levels of community innovation, individuals from across the world are coming together to address humanity's greatest challenge. Our goal is to support all proposals and projects related to climate change action on Cardano, the blockchain that aims to be energy efficient and environmentally sustainable. What began as a challenge has grown into a community, Cardano4Climate. The mission of Cardano is to make the world better, work better for all. Our goal is for Cardano to make the world work better for all people, animals, and the planet.
It's Cardano versus Bitcoin in terms of energy consumption. Cardano uses 10,000 times less electricity per transaction. And just as a comparison, because I did the math a little bit myself, so if you have one transaction on the Cardano blockchain, it's still not nothing, but you're using about 0.18 kilowatt hours, which means you have to boil your kettle for about 3 minutes. Whereas if you are doing a transaction, a single transaction on Bitcoin, that uses approximately 1,660 kilowatt hours, and you would have to boil your kettle 23 days.
Looking at Project Catalyst, some of you may know it's the world's largest decentralized innovation fund. And we have been looking at whether or not the proposals of Fund 6, the funded proposals, connected to the UN SDGs.
So I want to explore, based on my experience with the previous organisation and the work I'm doing now, how we get to cooperation on climate change. And really for me, I feel climate change is a failure of cooperation. I mean, cooperation is about working together, acting together. So it's really it's a doing word. We have to act to do things together for the betterment of a project or for a better outcome.
There is a special guy who actually dedicated a big chunk of his life to planting trees, and it's fine to dedicate this conference to him.
60s when I met him, and he lived a long, rich life. He was from Bulgaria. And he studied mathematics, and he had a keen interest in algebra and analysis and other areas. And he was an incredibly brilliant man. And then somewhere along the way, he developed almost a druid-like passion for nature. And he decided to go on a personal mission to plant thousands of trees.
Here to introduce Veritree, we are calling what we're building the restorative operating system. Our vision is to make saving the planet simple.
I just got to know about Cardano and the blockchain adventures a few days ago. Actually, what really triggered me was the brave battles at Ferry Creek that even here from the Brazilian rainforests are noticed. I also think it's incredibly important what's happening there. And yes, we need to regenerate the forest and we need to replant, but first and foremost, we need to keep the forests standing that are there.
The foundation is a community initiative from Cardano4Climate and a DAO inspired by Kiva, Kickstarter and Patreon. We build open source technologies to fund SDG activities. Our aim is to make the funding process transparent, community-driven and trust-based.
So Cardano in the DRC is quite recent. I would say we have been involved in many activities since I personally joined. There had been a lot of cryptocurrency activities in DRC, mainly blockchain. But with Cardano, we have had so many activities that on a daily basis, we have meetups like we have the hub through WADA, which has weekly meetings where we teach people, young students, to learn how to learn Haskell, to learn how to program using Bluetooth.
Hub is focusing on IT and agriculture, so I'm going to just give kind of a big picture of everything that we're doing. The purpose behind our hub is really about making healthy and nutrient-dense food accessible. I put reintroducing regenerative farming practices because a lot of the things that we're learning as these new up-and-coming techniques are things that Mompa will tell you, his grandmother was doing on the farm.